Right. So before we practice, I want to say a few words, and I want to spend a few minutes actually talking about mindfulness and love. I know I've talked about love and mindfulness before in this gathering, and you'll likely hear more about it from me because I do think that mindfulness and love are deeply connected, um, and that at its heart, it is a practice of love. The American poet and literary critic J.D. McClatchy once wrote that love is the quality of attention that we pay to things. Love is the quality of attention we pay to things. And John Tarrant, the director of the Pacific Zen Institute, agreed when he said, attention is the most basic form of love. Attention, the most basic form of love. Through it, he says, we bless and are blessed. Well, but if you're like me, you might find that this kind of attentive love does not always come easily. Our own stuff can get in the way, judgments, preoccupations, distractions, our family histories, stress, worry, vulnerabilities, and much more. And many things can limit our ability to love fully. Because ultimately love is a form of letting go. Um, And if we are to become better lovers, we will need to let go of, at least to some degree, our own self interest. So before we begin the formal practice, I want to introduce you to a poem. Maybe you know it already, by Rumi. It's about love and letting go and falling into love. This is Rumi. The way of love is not a subtle argument. The door there is devastation. Birds make great sky circles of their freedom. How do they learn it? They fall, and falling, they're given wings. I think we often come to mindfulness seeking peace and clarity or relief from suffering. But the path of presence, of awareness, is not always an easy or gentle one. And Rumi in this poem, I think, is suggesting the way to love, the deep, spacious love that connects us to ourselves and to everyone else, is not discovered through uh, calm and comfort. In his words, it's revealed through devastation. And in mindfulness, we don't turn away from the pain, the challenges. We learn to be with it. Grief, loss, heartache are not our detours from the path, they are the path. When we meet devastation with presence, it becomes a kind of sacred threshold, one through which we might discover a new way of being, a deeper way of loving. Rumi's image of birds learning to fly by falling reminds us that each time we fall, each time we lose what we thought we could not live without, we're given the chance to grow wings, wings of compassion, of surrender, of wisdom. So let's practice together, bringing mindfulness to our moments, our challenges, our falling, not to fix all that, but to meet them with an open-hearted, loving awareness. So arrange yourself now in a relatively comfortable posture, sitting or lying down if you like, but something that allows you to feel both supported, grounded, and also alert and at ease. And then gently closing the eyes or just lowering the gaze and bringing the attention to the breath. Softly, gently, without forcing. Just tune into the breath as it moves in and out in this moment. And letting the breath be a kind of anchor point as you rest here in awareness. Noticing each inhale, a gentle rising, each exhale, a soft letting go. And maybe take a moment to acknowledge that you're here. I know that might sound a little silly because we're here, but paying attention to that, you're sitting here and you have intentionally brought yourself to this moment as it is. And then nothing needs to be fixed or changed right now. Just this in breath and just this out breath. And when the mind wanders, and I say when because it will wander, it's the nature of the mind to do so. But when it does, just notice that it has wandered off and then gently, without judgment, without force, bring the mind back to this moment using the breath and a sensation of the body sitting here in the moment as your anchor orienting force to bring you back to this moment. And if you have to do that over and over, then that's a great opportunity to practice falling, letting go, coming back. And let your awareness of whatever is showing up in this moment to be a non-judgmental awareness, a blanket kind of term we use for all of the liking and disliking and the wrestling and commenting, so that you bring a loving attention to this moment, even in the midst of the struggle, worry, stress, regret, whatever it is. And just see if you can cultivate this loving attention as best you can, just for this time of sitting here. When you notice the mind wandering, which it will, just gently come back to the breath and this sitting here. Come back to the heart, if you will. And that it's enough to just cultivate presence in this moment with open-heartedness. And once again, here's Rumi's poem, The Way of Love. The way of love is not a subtle argument. The door there is devastation. Birds make great sky circles of their freedom. How do they learn it? They fall, and falling, they're given wings.